Yo, Wendy. Oh, I am so sorry. It took me longer than I thought to get back up here. My bad, guys. Mm. Had to make some breakfast real quick. I got some waffles and bacon. Waffles and bacon. I honestly didn't realize I started the stream. Sean was like, "Oh, I thought I saw you start already." I'm like, "No, no, I'm about to go fix breakfast." But apparently, I did hit the start button. Mm. I thought you went to the loo. That man must be sitting down for a second. Mm. Mm. Mm, mm, mm. Yeah, that's 16 minutes. That's crazy. 16 minutes. Well, made it back home safe. It was fantastic. I had a great time. Got a bunch of pictures of family members. Got to hang out with a couple of my best friends, and seen a bunch of family members I haven't seen in a while. Oh no, it was a great trip. I got to host a paint and sip. Hung out with hung out with this fine ass lady. I don't know why that's not loading here. There it goes. So this is in my hometown. This is Lake Robinson, and our family reunion was at our lodge right next to the lake. My cousin setting up for the DJ. Other cousins outside, um, frying up all that fish there, boy. Oh man, boozy, what a doozy. What up, bro? Did a bunch of whisper photo shoots. And so I got to hang out with this fine motherfucker the whole time. God damn. We did our own little photo shoot. Um, taking a little stroll through one of the local gardens. Hmm. I thought we took pictures together. Oh, here we go. I don't know. Which one is it? I didn't edit these. I had to edit out. Okay, that's a good one. Hang out with one of my besties. That's my homie right there and his daughter. She finally let me pick her up. Like soon as she reached for me and she's like, "Oh, pick me up." And then as soon as I grab her, she's like, "No, I don't like this shit. Give me my dad back." She's like, "Give me back to my dad." I was like, "Nah, little ma'am, I got you now." More family members with the whisper. This my cousin Timmy. Yo, he funny as shit. And uh, cousin Timmy makes wine. Some of the older generation. Then some of my generation. And then some of the next generation below us, all our kids. Then our in-laws, all the husbands and wives of family members. She's an in-law now. And then we did our family paint and sip. These were the winners. Uncle Larry is an artist though. He's a really talented artist. Met Xavier Zay for the first time, one of my younger cousins. And everybody ain't young now. It's just crazy. Like this motherfucker, like 23, and that's the first time I met him in 23 years. They live down in Florida. They've been down there forever. And I met a bunch of the younger cousins. I ain't know, got to hang out with everybody. There's way more stuff, but like most of the time we were so like in a groove, ain't nobody took no pictures and shit. Yo. Or even here, Shauna was like, because I chilled with one of my homeboy for hours. We was at his crib for like a couple hours. She's like, "Nigga, y'all been here this whole time. I bet y'all ain't took one picture together yet." I was like, "Nah, fuck a picture. We chilling." We was on the front porch drinking, smoking, listening to music. She come out there with a camera. She was like, "Yeah, we gotta get pictures together." That my other brother right there, yo, that motherfucker funny as shit. We had a good time to pull out the motherfucking case of Heine. Oh yeah, we was chilling. Oh yeah, Brandon, the one I wrote a song. So I wrote a song for this is this is J Rock. So I got his song is Tyrone Blackwell. So I wrote a song for him, and then the Brandon. So I got two Brandons, Brandon Scott and Brandon Turbyville, and the white boy that's Brandon Turbyville. I think you said you like his song the best, ain't it? So yeah, I wrote a song for him. He looked tired, right? Hey, that girl be running his ass ragged. Yeah, I love it. I love it. Yeah, I wrote a song for J Rock and Tyrone. Then I wrote one for Chase. I don't even think I got no pictures of Chase. No, I think that's the one picture I got of Chase. So I wrote a song for him, and then my sister. I wrote a whole album for this lady, and another song for her. I wrote an album plus one. No, every time I go home, it's always a good time. I make sure of that. I'm gonna have a good time when I go home. Mm. I brought back so much shit, all my little snacks and stuff. I got me some of my favorite wine that you can only find down south. Like they don't sell that shit where I live at no fucking where. And I've looked for it for years. For years I was looking for this wine. Every fucking wine store or I mean wine shop or liquor shop I went in would always look for this wine. It's just not sold in this region. So when I go home, I make sure to get me a couple bottles of that wine. Um, I let Shauna try it. She was like, "Oh, this is delicious." She just started grabbing more. We came back with like a case of wine. And then my favorite ginger ale that I like to drink. Once again, it's a regional thing. You can't really find it anywhere outside of that area. So I got me a case of wine. I got a case of ginger beer. Um, I got some boiled peanuts because you can't hardly find them shits up here. And where's there some another little snack or treat I brought? Oh, and I picked this up. Yes, sir. Yes, that is what you think it is. I picked this up. Ah, and what else? What else I brought back? I think that's it. Just brought a bunch of snacks, and drinks, and shit. It's still a good time though. They say I don't know what that is. I have no clue. And this stream is for entertainment purposes only. That looks a lot like the sage and oregano that I grow in my garden. But yeah, a real good time. Has went to some good a southern restaurant. Then we went to a Jamaican restaurant. Mm-hmm. Bro, whatever my cousin got growing in they field, bro. super organic. I'm telling you, yo, that shit fire. That shit fire, bro. I said, cuz, no, let me get a little something. I fucking pull out the jar, like, here you go. God damn. I like, that's a whole lot. You sure you want to get that to me? Well, thank you very much. That's a lot. Thank you. Mm, mm, mm. I always love taking that little trip home. We drove, and it's a hell of a drive. Oh my God, it's such a long drive, but it's worth it. It's worth it every time. Let me see that again. This is for entertainment and educational purposes only. This is not an advertisement. Um, this is not any instructions or any suggestions or any advice about anything that we do in this stream. Once again, we just try to entertain and educate. So don't pay attention to. Don't take it further than that. And you can tell, like, bro, watch this. Look at that. As soon as you touch it one time, boom, what that is right there. What that is right there. You don't even see that shit no more, bro. Watch. Oh, there you go. It's organic, bro. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Pure. Now you mind seeds? Hell no, nigga. I don't mind no damn seed. That let me just know this shit don't come from no big stock farm and some lab that gotta be approved by the government and FDA and meet all these medical standards. Nah, nigga. This is a plant, bro. This a real fucking plant. This a real fucking flower with real fucking seeds in it. This is real shit right here, bro. And look at it. That shit. I'm trying to get it off. I'm trying to get it off. No. No. That shit. You know why? That shit's sticky, boy. I'm trying to get it off again. Most of it, I can still feel it though. That shit's sticky. And pretty too, man. And I got a lot. Organic, pure, natural. No additives or preservatives, none of that shit. I wish. It's like it smells almost like dried apple peels. It smells like apples and lemon. Just imagine you had some dry apple peels, right? Smells like dry. And then you take a lemon and just squeeze some lemon juice on it. That's exact. It smells like apples and lemon, bro. Delicious. You say for the people who couldn't see that in the back, just one more time, please, sir. Can you let me see? We're trying to examine some stuff right here. Entertainment, educational purposes only. Hmm? Dispensary versus the homegrown. And when I had this, I don't even want that dispensary shit. I ain't even like. Want that shit. You gotta clean it and pick all the seeds out. I'll be fine with that. That's how I originally smoked. Hey, that was what you had to do all the time anyway. It may be convenient, but I've always found that I always found it weird when the weed stopped having seeds in it. It's like, oh, wait, oh. And everybody's like, well, oh, this is the best way. No sticks, no seeds. And what is that you're smoking? Most plants and fruits have seeds. So it's either being manually manipulated or genetically manipulated where it's not producing seeds. And that's not hard to do. It's not hard to do. All you gotta do is kill the male plants so that they don't pollinate the females. That's all you gotta do in most instances. But now they breed this motherfucker in a way where it don't make seeds. Just like your grapes, just like your watermelons, and like your oranges. They don't want motherfuckers to be able to harvest the seeds and do it themselves. They want you to always be dependent on whoever gives you the seeds or who gives you the plant or the fruit. And now you just eat the fruit, and now you gotta go buy more fruit every time you want more of the fruit. Instead of buying the fruit one time, taking the seeds from the fruit, and then growing your own fruit plant, then you don't gotta keep going to somebody else to buy that fruit. But I mean, I could grow tomatoes, but I don't. Amazing. All right, we got a little bit more of this red sweater to work on. Basically, the shoulder part, we did the cuff, but it's the bottom portion of this sleeve on his forearm and his shoulder. And then that should be all of our red. And then, and then we'll hop over to this blue shirt, blue sweater. So let's jack this up. Might need to go higher. Maybe like that. I ain't gonna lie, y'all, I'm struggling this morning. After that drive yesterday, and we came home and had a good dinner, and drink some wine. And that's why I always like to take this day off too after the road trip because I could not have got up and been productive at work today. I just would not have been. I don't even want to go to work tomorrow. But it is what it is, you know. Our album is out. Came out Thursday. Listened to it a little bit riding down south. Mm. Hmm. AI is crazy because that's definitely not real. Checking some messages and whatnot. Yeah, Chicago. Mhm. It says I have a message in my Instagram, but I don't see it. Oh, all right. All right. Oh, I'll fight through it definitely. Like it'll be better as the day goes. It'll get better.
When I grow up, I want to be a doctor. At National Heritage Academies, we help students it's just different.
Hope you're having a good Monday. Starting off the work week. Oh, this dude need to put this feet on a hold on, what is this called? You should put this on a playlist for itself or a video by itself.
Done with wedding season?
So how do I group just that one? Can I just not group this? Oh, 6 weeks no work. Hey, I forgot. Girl, you know what? I forgot it's summertime. I ain't even gonna lie, because I'm doing summer programs with the kids. I forgot it's summertime. Like, man, I ain't fucking with them kids today. Chilling. I love it for you. I don't know what I was thinking this morning. I think it's a different red, but I'm not sure which red. What if I do this one? All right. Hey, thanks for stopping in, Wendy. I hope you have a good day. Have a wonderful day. I can't get any more bars to this shit right now. Okay. Not even really sure what direction this song is about to go in. Yo, good morning, guys. What's up? Trying to add some details to the fabric of this sweater right here. And write a song at the same time. You know how we do it, man. Music and paint. Painting and music. I'm not exactly sure what direction I want to take the song in, but we'll just put words to it, to the music, and see where it takes us. Fucked that up, but it's not noticeable, so we're not gonna, you know. ain't gonna do no real correcting on that. You know, they didn't even notice. I can't think of that beat right now. I might need to just separate the two. Just paint right now and then go and write later and not try to do it while I'm painting because that shit ain't coming. Oh, did I touch that? It's not coming to me right now. That's fine, you know what I'm saying? That's okay. We'll get it. We'll get it sooner or later. Just not right now. My focus is elsewhere, obviously. Oh no, did I do that? I mean, that's not terrible once again, but this was just, you know, need a studio for a couple of days. He come back and like he don't know the first thing about painting. Yeah, like he don't know the first thing about painting. Okay. that might be good enough for that. So another thing that I actually need to do, not that I don't want to, I want to do it, but I need to do it as well, is edit some photos because um, I took a lot of photos on vacation. And so I'm gonna edit those and send them out to the people. Um, and also get some ready for the next series the next set of paintings I'll be doing for this Whisper series. Right. So I think that red is done for right now. We're definitely going to add a lot more details on the next go around, but we're going to get set up to work on this blue. Man, I wasted so much paint. Wasted so much paint. Fuck. Yeah, it is what it is. Where my gloves at? See, I got that glove. That's a lot of paint. blues. We're gonna do a bunch of Prussian and ultramarine for this. I feel like Prussian, ultramarine, and some cobalt. Let's see where that gets us. Do Prussian, ultramarine, cobalt. At the end, I could probably throw in a little white or even a little bit of turquoise or cerulean blue for the more lighter parts. I don't know, maybe white and cerulean blue will work better than turquoise. Prussian, our darkest blue. French ultramarine is bluish purple, especially when you thin it out with some lighter blues or white. You can kind of see that purple tone in there. And then cobalt is mid-range blue. And then, like I said, I could probably use some white or a little bit of cerulean. Let's just put a little of this in here. Not much, a little bit. That cerulean blue is almost as blue as the palette itself. So we got 4 blues here. I said that first blue is very dark. It almost looks like it's black. And this is one of my favorite colors of all time. This blue is so versatile for skin tones, for shadows, for shrubbery and greenery. Most shadows aren't black. Most shadows are a dark blue or purple. And most skin tones are warmed up with blues. So one of my favorite colors of all time, Prussian blue, French ultramarine, cobalt, and some cerulean blue hue. To get us started on this sweater, this blue sweater, I should drop this down a little bit. Our stacking block. See if you can find something interesting to listen to.
I'm getting heavy on this mission shit. Come on the jet while I'm taking the risk. Gotta be crazy to think I'm a quit. Creating my lane to balance the range. Reflecting on life and this looking strange. Peek through the veil, I practically trained. I see it and feel it. The sounds remaining the same. I'm utilizing that foresight. Time to shine brighter than bush tonight. A tremendous strike, feeling forced to fight. Never giving up, gotta strike precise. I'm a hustler next for a better life. On the conquest of being from the best. Plan to make a meal, then go invest. Many hope when I crash and I digress. Many plans for me and I won't fail. Using all my tools now full scale. Get it on the move and then execute. I'm the blue flame when I have the suit. I got the surge, y'all got the juice. Yeah, knowledge, great, hold up, love. It's infamous knowledge for greatness, bitch, man. Great effect, value one. Yeah. Staying in my lane, my main focus is to get the green. Proof to be a dominant force. I interrupt the scene, providing fresh bars and hygiene. I spit with Listerine. You see how I'm rolling, all you need to do is picture me. Spitting vividly, crushing on mics in my vicinity. Like an icy hot, I'm just a recipe and remedy. Must be out your mind if you think you could diminish me. I got real aura, extra energy, plenty G. Lyrically raging, it's always special occasions. I'm going down in history. Ain't no rougher replacements. I'm a monster and a trying to lead
Yeah,
out
that's
the
my
last
homeboy
of
son
the
right here.
Got my recognition, I bleed. Music is all of me. Lost my twin sister and broke my heart and that heart of me. As long live long, cause you always gonna be a part of me. You the main one that had my back and see what started me. Said the right shit, soon as I started talking. Gotta remain calm, nothing cloud my judgment. Building from the ground, organic growth and never rushing. A diamond in the rough, it's my time, I'm committed. About to get signed, staying consistent and grind, creating gold in my mind. I'm different like groundbreaking, unique with sounding can't take. I'm the one you wanna embrace. Music running my veins, and my soul on the great. Took the heaviest L's, watch surroundings and fakes. Heavy on protecting my energy and my space. I don't speak cause there's no more breath I can waste. They think I'm brown master, that's how I apply pressure. This shit was in the making, I told them the dog lesson. Went through my hard lessons, expecting the unexpected. Was in the streets with the breakfast, shoving up my pen, writing verses and reflecting. Nikki told me work on the craft, so I'm perfecting. I'm just making well for those jacks, that shit was hectic. It gave me more faith to push the dream and not neglect it. I told you from the jump, this shit was destined. Infamous knowledge, a force to be reckoned. But if I was set, I stay on my feet, now I'm stepping.
Repeating a forgotten history by building AI, Joe Rogan shares a chilling theory. Ancient relics like the Ark were actually advanced technology, and today we are on the verge of manufacturing our own digital god. Here is why.
The things that they don't understand is these vases. These vases that they made that are perfectly designed, where there's the difference between like the edges and the symmetry is like 1,000th of a human hair, and these are cut out of incredibly hard granite. They don't
Really? I've never heard.
Yes.
You guys are familiar with
These
that?
this is a 3D print of one of them that exists.
Yeah, and they're fascinated by the perfection.
Yes.
And they're saying, how did they do that? We don't even know how to do it.
Incredibly
Really?
hard
Is there
stone.
built with an incredible precision?
Yes.
And
Incredibly,
granite.
incredibly hard granite, incredible precision. Back when they had no metal alloys, they had copper tools. It doesn't make any sense. None of it makes any sense. And then there's the symmetry involved in some of these statues. Like they're perfectly symmetrical in terms of the distance between the eyes, the nose, the lips. No one's face is symmetrical. Your left side of your face is different. You combine the two sides, they look, it looks weird. But when you look at these statues, which are massive, carved out of granite, again, supposedly before they had steel, Like they didn't have diamond tipped instruments to do this. They polished them. They're perfectly symmetrical and massive. Some of them are 1,000 tons, and they don't have any understanding of how these people built these things, put them there, and they all seem to be the biggest, most spectacular ones, are the oldest.
How could you not want to dig those up?
Yeah, well,
Right? And
Yeah.
look at them.
There's
Because,
some-
I mean, they're concerned about national pride, but if you dig them up,
it's not just national pride, it's the pride of the people that have been espousing this one narrative for so long.
Right.
That's part
That's
of the
true.
problem. The gatekeepers of the information.
it's still national pride.
It is,
Right.
but these people are idiots. That's part of the problem. Like their own ego is preventing them from being open-minded and calling out to the world's research communities and saying, listen, there's something going on here. We don't have the big picture. We have a picture that we have formed from a limited amount of information, and we've been incredibly arrogant about what we're assuming. We also know that a lot of these pharaohs would carve their name and carve their hieroglyphs into existing things. They would claim existing things. Some of the carvings on these things are far cruder.
And this is where I find the arrogancy of Western culture. When the science of archaeology first begun, they had to give Egypt its own science so that they can control the narrative of it and say that it was done in a period that they understand by people they understand, so that they can claim or place the credit where they want the credit to go. And I think the narrative is wrong. It's completely wrong, because of their understanding, and a lot of it is falsified because they want to have that prestigious status of discovery and knowing that, oh, this is our lineage. And it's not, buddy. It's not. The Europeans and the so-called modern day Egyptians are not responsible for the Giza Plateau. And they will always hate to admit that the dynastic Egyptians found that settlement. And when they found the settlement, it was already an ancient site that was no longer functioning. And these dynastic Egyptians just went in and wrote their names on shit and could not reproduce the architecture. Period. They could not reproduce the architecture. That's why the older pyramids are bigger and more grand than the newer pyramids. And we all know that apparently progression in technology does not work that way. In modern era, we solve problems and we add on to the knowledge that we already have and the knowledge that we acquired to solve a bigger problem. And we add on to that and we make things easier and nicer the further we go because we have a better understanding of the process. If that was the same case with pyramid building, it seems like the later pyramids, the newer pyramid would be grander and more prestigious and pristine than the older pyramids. But we absolutely do not see that. So instead of having an acclamation or not an acclamation, but a compounding of knowledge of architecture and engineering, planning designs, work distribution, material handling and distribution, assignment, blueprints, and all this stuff. It seems like the more we do it, the better we should understand it, and the easier it should be for us to complete a project like that. But once again, for some reason, it just seems like older pyramids are better than the new pyramids. Where did that technology go? And why did the people who built the newer pyramids, Why couldn't they do it as well as the older pyramids? Because the people who built the new pyramids did not build the old pyramids. And there was a great gap in time before the new pyramid builders found the old pyramids. The new pyramid builders did not know the original pyramid builders. They saw these structures and said, hey, we should try to build one. And they couldn't. It looks very similar in shape and design, but the massiveness and the grandness of it is not there because they were not taught how to do it. They tried to teach themselves how to do it. And not taking anything away from the newer pyramid builders, because they were able to construct smaller pyramids, which is pretty damn amazing. But whoever built the Great Pyramid and the other two pyramids on the plateau, those are not the same people. They're not the same groups of people. And that's what the Egyptologists and the European historians will always hate to admit. Because they look at Africa as more of a Middle East and not as being a part of the actual African continent itself. So that's why you'll hear people say Africa in Egypt and Egypt, as if Egypt is not in Africa. And most Egyptians would consider themselves to be Caucasian, believe it or not. And so they don't want to have to change that narrative where they're not responsible, where their ancestors aren't responsible for the construction of these great wonders of the world. They just want to take credit for that shit when they know full and well that they don't know who constructed the pyramids. They don't know. No one knows. Well, it has Khafre's name on it. Khafre didn't build that shit, yeah. Then, like they say, the statues themselves are symmetrical. Giant symmetrical statues. And you're saying the Egyptians had the technology to do this without having diamond tips or middle tools. They just did this with bronze and made giant marble statues that were completely symmetrical. Kind of hard to believe. Dr. Robert Schoch already told us what he thought about the shit. Dr. Robert Schoch, Robert Bravall.
They've done it than the actual construction of the thing. And they think that these are old things that were there already, and then these later pharaohs
Just wanted to attach their name.
chiseled their hieroglyphs into these things.
And another thing, and this has been mentioned a lot, is the fact that there's no tools that were ever discovered in those areas that would prove that those things were made with those, and they had to use tools, they had to have something.
Right.
So there's not even that. That's not even available.
Right.
So it's like, how did they do it? Did they hide the tools? Why would they do that?
It doesn't, none of it makes any sense.
Yeah.
And also these incredibly hard vases that you find, they're the oldest ones. They're the things that they find in the oldest sites. It's like the most complicated, complex, confusing technology seems to be the oldest stuff.
Yeah.
There's also like,
You had another guy here that does the research on Peru, and he was I can't remember his name. I got to meet him.
Luke Cavins, was it him?
Yeah, it goes to Peru, and he has a show about that, about the ancient stuff that they're finding underground in Peru.
There's a couple guys. What was the other guy?
He got black hair. I can't remember his name.
That's Luke, the younger guy?
Yeah, younger
Yeah,
guy.
that's Luke. Yeah.
So basically, he was talking about the fact that there's 2 layers of ancient stuff in Peru. The first layer is younger,
Mhm.
and what's below it is what's really incredible,
And more complex.
more complex,
Yes.
but they don't want to go there because you're going to destroy an existing archaeological site that's on top of it. What's happening is they're having trouble now getting permission to go to the lower level, which is even better, because they're going to have to break an archaeological site of a more recent part of that civilization.
Well, this is a common theme among people. We build on older sites. There's a place that I go to in Italy, in the Amalfi Coast, and there's this incredible old church there that's over 1,000 years old. But it's built on an even older church, and there's a plexiglass floor.
That shows the old
Yeah,
church.
and the old church is underneath it, and you can see the structure of this old church. And I was asking them, how old is the old church? They go, we don't know. They're 1,000 years old. So it's over 1,000 years old, this church, and then this really old church is on top of it that's like hundreds and hundreds of years old also. But they built it on top of an existing structure. So this is a common theme. This is a theme in Peru where you see the Inca construction, which is like much less complicated, smaller stones, mud mortar, but it's on top of these megalithic structures that are carved in these jigsaw shapes where it seems like they've been melted.
Yeah.
It's freaky stuff. They have no understanding of what technology was used, who did it, how they moved these immense 1,000-ton stones and cut them with precision in this jigsaw way so that it will absorb the energy of earthquakes and not fall down.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean,
There's a lot of that stuff that's really, really freaky. And then you get into old religious texts, and that's when things get really freaky. You get to things like the Book of Enoch that talk about the watchers who came down from the sky and breathed.
Clearly a lot of unusual stuff happened a long time
Yes.
a long time ago.
And we don't have a good record of it.
Yeah.
We just have what we know. And what we know, we get very arrogant about. We know what happened 300 years
That's
ago.
a really good point. Of what we know, we get very arrogant about.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's
And
also
anything else we don't.
these academics and these people that are in charge of the narrative, like the people of Egypt, where they're very arrogant and they're gatekeepers because their whole identity is based on them being the ones that explain to the world how these incredible sites were produced. And if something comes along that is counter to that narrative, they fight it. They fight it because it's part of them. It's their identity.
When I spoke to Filippo Biondi, I talked to one of my cousins in Italy. I spent a lot of my time in Italy when I was younger. One of them, she was younger than I was when I was there, but she's now become a respected archaeologist in Rome, and she's an Egyptologist. Okay? And I went out to Italy to visit family, and I was sitting at the table. This is not even that long ago. And she's sitting next to me, and I mean, I remember her from being a kid. And she nudged me at the table. Her family's all academic. Everybody's a doctor or scientist or something like that. So there's always that pride of the science. And she nudges me, and in Italian she says, "I'm really interested in what you do, what you're looking into." And I knew what she meant. It was about UFOs. And I just responded, I'm even more interested in what you know about what's out there in Egypt. And she looked at me as, we don't really know all of it. She said, a lot of it makes no sense. But she said it whispering because she knew that that's not well seen at the table, because now she's going to come across as this pseudoscience type of like, oh my God, she's gonna come out of the mainstream, you know. So and then she went to her place, and I was still there. We were there for a couple of days. She came and gave me a little book, and in Italian, I don't know how to say it. The missing. I don't know how to say it in English, but the missing Vangelo, like the missing scriptures, basically. It's a little book in Italian about the missing scriptures that are not in the Bible, that speak of things that are not convenient for what we are arrogant to think we understand.
And one of the fascinating things about these missing scriptures is they found them alongside existing
Yeah.
scriptures. So when they found the Dead Sea Scrolls in Qumran, so they found these in a cave in Qumran. And
Right.
it's kind of a crazy thing. Like someone threw a rock and hit a clay pot and heard the shattering of a clay pot. So they threw a rock into this high cave and realized there's something in there. And then they started looking and they found these scrolls that were in these clay pots. Inside the scrolls, they found the book of Isaiah. It was 1,000 years older than the oldest version of the book of Isaiah that we had ever found, and identical to the book of Isaiah that is currently in the Bible. Along with it is the book of Enoch. And the book of Enoch is fucking squirrely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Book of
It's
Enoch.
yeah,
squirrely.
yeah.
And it's a good way to describe it.
Just a few rabbis decided that the book of Enoch was too weird because it didn't jive with the Torah. So they left it out of the biblical canons.
Right.
That's why it's not taught. But the book of Enoch is readily available. You can read it. And it's also in the Ethiopian Bible. The Ethiopian Bible includes the book of Enoch.
Really?
Yes. And those are the people that supposedly are in possession
Of
of the Ark of the
The Ark
Covenant,
of the Covenant. Yeah.
which is like Graham Hancock talks about it.
Yeah.
There's like a person is sent to, like, they have a job of watching the Ark of the Covenant, but it's known that it's going to kill them. So they all get cataracts and cancer.
Yeah,
they
like
all
it
wind up
has
dying.
like bad things. Yeah. That's
Well, it has
right.
some sort of radiation apparently, and they exhibit signs of radiation poisoning when these people are designed to be the curators.
Where is the Ark of the Covenant?
In Ethiopia, supposedly in Ethiopia.
Do you guys think that?
I mean, I'm
But I
very.
think it's
I
ancient
think it's-
technology.
yeah.
I think it's probably ancient technology. It's probably some completely not understood ancient technology.
I'm not discounting it. I'm just wondering.
Well, I like
Yeah.
the fact that you're skeptical, even though you have the craziest fucking story.
Yeah.
It speaks to your integrity. It really does, because you're not a guy who believes kooky shit. So for you, a guy who doesn't believe kooky shit is a hard, rational scientist who's an engineer who's done things like put a rocket engine in the back of a fucking Honda, and then or a hydrogen-powered Corvette, and then you go and see these things like, wait, what the fuck is this thing you have?
Look,
in this
I
hangar?
worship technology.
Right.
Nothing else.
Right. Yeah.
So I mean, to hear something like that, do you think that actually exists?
I don't know. Graham
Do you
Hancock
think-
is convinced it exists. It's very
Yeah.
carefully guarded, and these people have been guarding it for centuries.
I mean, it's throughout history, right?
Yes.
So
I mean, there's too many missing pieces of the puzzle to really say one way or another. I don't think
whether or
there's-
not it was just
Yeah.
mythology or
Right.
an actual.
Yeah.
Right. But it is weird that he's talked to these people that have these fucking cataracts, and these people all say the same thing. They die. The people that are designed or that are designated to be the curators of this particular religious.
I
subject.
relate this back to I think I told you the first time we met, if somebody found a nuclear reactor
Right.
Yeah.
back at that time,
Right.
and they took it apart, they just would drop dead,
Right.
from
Exactly.
magically
Right.
from that. And anybody that came in to check on them would also die, and they go, this is evil, it's cursed or whatever.
Or
And-
something that you're not supposed to have access to because
Right,
it's
or some
divine.
other, yeah,
Yes.
right. And could this be something at another level?
Yes.
That I have to say, and I mean, I'm no one to say it, but I struggle with divine stuff because I'm like, if this craft or this technology, I mean, our phones to somebody 1,000 years ago
Yes.
would look like some divine object. I mean, it's technology
Clearly,
to us.
yeah.
So we have to be very cautious. I'm not saying there is no divine something. Maybe there is. We don't know. But I think technology really could mask itself as divine power. if it's-
100%.
Yeah.
Or divine energy itself could be technology
True.
taken to its final form.
That's That I'm open to.
Well, if you think about what we're talking about with sentient AI, an AI that has the ability to make better versions of itself, what happens if it's left alone
Yeah.
for 1,000 years to do this? Well, what do you have? You have something that can harness the power of the universe itself. It's access to
Yeah.
0 point energy, can do whatever, I mean, has a complete understanding of quantum entanglement, complete understanding of how the universe functions, how it was created. With this new theories that believe that the entire universe itself exists inside of a black hole.
You
They're trying to figure out whether or not there ever was a Big Bang, or if it's a continuous cycle of things existing inside black holes.
So where do you think we are? What do you think this is?
I think it's a process. I think we're at a stage of a process. Our problem is we have ideology, we have dogma, we have ego, we have people that are smarter than most people, but want to think that they have all the information, and I don't think they do. And then we have open-minded people that are curious but don't want to look like kooks, and they're all trying to figure it out while we're making a fucking digital god. Why these weirdo on the spectrum
Right. We are
eggheads.
literally manufacturing our own God.
Right.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
But if you
We are.
you take that and you extrapolate, you go from where it is now, you think about the exponential increase of technology. Well, where does that go? It kind of goes divine. I mean, that might be what God is. We want to think that God is a thing that exists. It just exists. It created everything. Maybe we make God.
Yeah.
Right.
We're on the same channel. Yeah. I think we created God.
I think human curiosity and this thirst for innovation is all a part of it.
You ever heard of hyperpop? It's a maximalist music genre. We obviously need massive synth chords. You can even glitch them out of it if you want.
Hyperpop?
I'm going to
Never
set
heard
the
of that.
chords volume every time the kick drum hits using Sideshow.
But you have an experience. And I get a call from this Japanese diplomat, and he invites me to lunch. I said, great. We meet at a place on Capitol Hill. And I remember that lunch very well. I remember we talked about Israeli elections. We talked about Turkish elections.
We were going to have you debate with somebody. Saying they wanted to do it. You didn't want to debate. He said this.
I don't even know who that is. Is that,
Okay, well,
is that like the
he's a
basketball
regular guest
player?
on my show, and he's somebody who.
And then you wanted me to debate like a pansexual former Disney actor.
Okay.
I mean,
I'm just gonna
I
read you-
deserve some respect.
Hello, Garland Nixon here, and I am standing in for Jimmy Dore. Jimmy is on vacation. Piers Morgan is completely impartial. It is not in charge. It's not, standing on behalf of the establishment. I'm absolutely not impartial, Blumenthal explained. I am not objective, and the concept of objectivity, as we understand it, is set out by the corporate media according to the parameters devised for them by their militant Zionist ruling class owners, who literally own the networks that you appear on. And by you, he meant Piers Morgan. Blumenthal then illustrated how Morgan manufactured consent for U.S.-Israeli war for the U.S. On behalf of this. And if that guy has an in for Jimmy Dore, to
the question I asked you though, to establish credentials of journalistic impartiality, did you go to the scene of where the Iranian regime massacred its own people?
Well, first of all, I'm not impartial. I'm absolutely not impartial.
Right.
I'm not objective. And the concept of objectivity, as we understand it, is set out by the corporate media according to the parameters devised for them by their militant Zionist ruling class
Okay, but
owners.
did you go to the scene?
Literally
Did you go to
own
the scene of
networks
the
that you appear on and others
did
appear on.
you-
So I'm not impartial. But
Understand,
to your direct question,
Yeah.
to your direct question, and I really want to have a conversation about how this reflects on journalism and the Constitution. But to your direct question, you previously hosted me in January, and basically I was sandbagged. I was sandwiched between, a actual war criminal, Jonathan Conricus from the Israeli military, and 3 Iranian monarchists. And I debated this very question, and I acknowledged that at least 3,000 people were killed in 2 days of protests, which the Israeli Mossad and U.S. intelligence have expressly taken credit for. Scott Bessent, the Treasury Secretary, explicitly took credit for fawning these riots by devaluing Iran's currency. The Iranian government has released the IDs and names of everyone who was killed there. 3,000 people is a lot of people, but they were not all just innocent protesters, and many of them were police officers. This all began with attacks on police stations, and I was actually, while I was there, and I'm about to produce a report on this, able to interview some off-duty cops. I wasn't set up to meet them. I started a conversation with them, and they told me how their police stations came under attack, how police officers were burned and killed. Some were beheaded by the People's MEK, which is a CIA-backed militant organization. There were also Kurdish militant groups like Komale and PJAK, which were involved. These were militarized riots. They weren't innocent protests, and it was a bridge between the 12-day war from last year to the current war, which you say you opposed. But, I watched you manufacture consent for that war by allowing people to lie about the number who were killed, claiming 40,000, 50,000.
Well, I don't think you know how many.
No
I don't
evidence
think
of
you
that.
know any better than they do how many were killed. But
I do know, and Iran International.
you
which
don't.
is
You
a
know what the
network
Iranian
that's
regime
actually-
told you.
Iran International, which is basically run by Israel and used to be run by the Saudis, has acknowledged that less than 5,000.
I've seen multiple reports.
Again, it's a lot.
Listen,
but
I
the
don't know
evidence is
I don't
very
know the
clear.
exact number, nor do you, nor do I don't think anybody else does. And hopefully one day we'll
Israeli-
find out.
Okay, Pierce, what would the UK do if Russian intelligence and Chinese intelligence were arming rioters to attack police stations?
You know what
and
we
were
wouldn't do?
massacring people
I
and
do
burning
think.
churches?
Well, look,
What do you think would happen in the UK?
what we were going to do is, we were going to have you debate with somebody. Will Chamberlain wanted to do it. You didn't want to debate. He sent this message.
I don't even know who that is. Is that
Okay,
is
well,
that like the
he's a
basketball
regular guest
player?
on my show, and he's somebody who.
And then you wanted me to debate like a pansexual former Disney actor.
Okay.
I mean,
I'm just gonna
I
read
deserve
you-
some respect.
One thing you gotta give him. Will Chamberlain, what is that? The basketball player is a good slam dunk on me. No thanks, pal. I'm not trying to get posterized, Well, and an ESPN highlight film, not happening. But we get back to this, and that is the discussion of the media about, that is number one, as he clearly takes the imperial pro-war, pro-U.S. empire UK position, he questions the other person to say, are you impartial? And he clearly demonstrates that he's not impartial.
And when I'm watching him talk there, I'm immediately thinking of how America is one of the only Western countries that maintains the death penalty, right? Most Western countries, almost all of them, I think we're the only Western country that still has the death penalty. Why do we have it? For police officers, right? It's police officers feel that, especially in places like Texas and places like Florida, there's a feeling that if one police officer gets killed, we need to take that person's life as a favor to the police, right? That is the feeling, that we need to show respect for law enforcement, that you can't kill a police officer. So here in Iran, these protests happened that Israel admitted they were behind, and they staged, and hundreds of Iranian police officers were killed. Hundreds of them, not one, not two, hundreds were killed. Now, this organization, he passingly mentioned MEK, that's Mujahideen Khalq, the People's Mujahideen of Iran. That used to be a designated terrorist organization in America, right? You can look it up. They were listed by the U.S. State Department as a designated foreign terrorist group. This was a group of what they called Islamo-Marxists. They worshipped, their prophet was Masoud Rajavi, and he was a guy who claimed he was the combined reincarnation of the Prophet Muhammad, Jesus, and Vladimir Lenin in one body, sent to Earth to bring on a global communist Islamic revolution. And he killed Americans. He took Americans hostage before the Islamic Revolution, and after the Islamic Revolution, the Ayatollah, Khomeini basically said, we don't want you to be part of our government. So then they blew up the Iranian parliament and killed 81 members of the parliament. If you imagine something like that, we talk about January 6th, people running around in the Capitol. Imagine somebody did something like that and killed 81 parliamentarians. I mean, they're a vicious group. And during the Iraq-Iran war, Saddam Hussein airdropped them into Iran. And they razed whole villages and slaughtered people. And because they were backed by Saddam Hussein, the U.S. government designated them as a foreign terrorist group. After the USA invaded Iraq, Saddam Hussein wasn't there to back them, but they hate Iran, right? They're enemies of Iran. And so they got recruited and they're the ones that assassinated Iranian nuclear scientists. When I was in Iran, I actually went to the site where a professor, a guy who taught nuclear physics, was walking to class, and somebody walked up to him and blew him away point blank, and was killed. And they have a monument to these peaceful nuclear scientists that were assassinated, where the Mujahideen cult, this kind of crazy extremist Islamo-Marxist, whatever you want to call them, group, was in coordination with Israel and murdered nuclear scientists. And so that group, that's an extremist group, a fanatical extremist group that's backed by the United States and backed by Israel. We know how dangerous they are because there's American citizens who died at their hands. We designated them as a foreign terrorist group. They sent all their people out into the streets, and hundreds of police officers were killed. And we're supposed to see the Iranian government responding to that and executing people that were part of that as, well, they're just a brutal, brutal regime. It's so horrible. It's like we're not, understanding the situation here. We wouldn't tolerate that, We had an endless amount of hysteria in American media because supposedly, remember Russiagate, and it all turned out to be a hoax. Supposedly Russia had bought some bots on Twitter. Oh my God, we can't have that. Now Marco Rubio and all of them are throwing a fit about, organizations in America that might supposedly have ties to Cuba. Well, these organizations, they're not killing anybody. They're not murdering police officers. They're not blowing up buildings. I mean, this is the double standard here is very, very extreme. And, I'm sure that Iran responded to the provocations by the American government, by the Israeli government, utilizing kind of extremist groups in the country that burn police stations and kill police officers. I'm sure Iran responded with a heavy hand, no doubt about it. There were executions. And but you have to understand the context of these things. But we have a very one-sided narrative of Iran is just an evil regime. Anything they do is completely unacceptable. Well, the world is more nuanced and complicated than that. And the Islamic Republic has faced an all-out onslaught. And, and if you ever said, well, this is being staged by the United States, the defenders of Israel and stuff, that's a conspiracy theory. But then Israel took credit for it. Their leadership said, we did this. They did this. They took credit for it. So it was very clearly a foreign operation to try and destabilize Iran. And it was not successful. And so now we're at war. The United States is doing what, the extremists funded by the United States and Iran couldn't do. When it really gets down to it, the Islamic Republic has a lot of popular support. In every neighborhood, they have what's called a Basij Council, where people wake up every day and say, how can I advance the Islamic revolution in my neighborhood, in my community? And there's a really strong and well-organized layer of the population that says the Islamic Republic and their Shia Islamic ideology, not capitalism, but Islam, war of poverty against wealth, neither East nor West, Islamic Republic, they believe in that. And the Islamic Revolutionary Guards is a military organization that is the largest economic entity in Iran, and they have a huge base of support. And so when people go out to try and overthrow the government, there's a lot of ordinary people that aren't police officers, that aren't members of the Islamic Revolutionary Guards, but are just ordinary people who go out and push back. And that's why the Islamic Republic is still standing. It's like in light of all the sanctions, all the bombing that they face, they have a huge base of support, and they've delivered the goods, right? It was Khomeini under his leadership that Iran, got full medical care for the population. If you look at how much the infant mortality rate dropped during the 1980s and how access to medical care was made available to the population, they electrified the countryside. They built these beautiful, huge highways. They raised the population's living standard. There's pretty much universal employment in Iran. If you want a job, the government will give you one. Maybe it won't be the best job you ever wanted, but they basically guarantee employment and an income to their population. They have a very well-organized layer of people that are very, very loyal to them. They have medical services available. They've done a lot to raise the people up. And there's a lot of people in Iran, especially in the countryside, in the rural areas, who are very, very loyal to the Islamic Republic and will go down fighting. And I saw when I was in Iran, the first time I ever went to Iran, how every neighborhood has faces. You go to every block in Tehran, they've got faces up, and the faces are of people in that neighborhood who are what they call martyrs, people who died for the Islamic Republic. And every block, every neighborhood has a monument to somebody who gave their life in that neighborhood to defend the Islamic Republic. And in Shia Islam, martyrdom is considered one of the highest things one can do. Now, I don't think that's unique to Shia Islam necessarily, right? Jesus Christ told his followers, whoever gains his life shall lose it, but whoever loses his life for my sake shall gain it. So the Christian religion talks about that too, but that's a really big emphasis in the Shia interpretation, is that if you give your life for the oppressed, you are one of the most high people in the next life. So I believe that Iran is not going to fall, and they have a huge base of support.
As a journalist, this concept about impartiality, right? I find it interesting that especially a Piers Morgan or anyone in the U.S. Media would talk about that. I mean, the impartiality certainly is. If I'm a journalist and I'm reporting on the Yankees versus the
most relaxing game for left brain thinkers.
What if there was a game? No hit.
They released a photo of the name of the German terrorist, and guess what? Well, it wasn't a German. Yeah, I know.
On your vacation? Oh yeah.
Nobody
Had a
could have
great
ever
time,
expected this could happen.
We went to the
I don't think anybody thought this was going to be a random event. German police have just shot dead the Berlin terrorist who rammed a car into the Pride parade in Berlin. That's right. This was an Islamist terrorist. I said yesterday, I was like, guys, I don't know really what it was. It could have been anything. I said that, also, what do you think the odds are, right? It turns out that averages sure seem to play out the way you think they do, right? And and also apparently they already even knew who this guy was, a 21-year-old from Lebanon. Yeah, I think he was from Lebanon, or so. It wasn't from Germany, I'll tell you that. And so was not a German. So we're gonna look at that, right? Why the release the first 5 minutes of your stream is because you're allergic to reaction of outside and you're clearing out. I usually just wake up. I mean, usually, how many of you guys have like congestion in the morning when you wake up, and then after you kind of get through the day and that buildup goes away, things are like back to normal and you don't have any issues, right? Me? Yeah, I think it's like super common, and so that's the reason why it happens. Yeah, okay, exactly, right? And he was literally scheduled for a de-radicalization session today. Well, I guess he got it because he's dead. So, mission accomplished. I feel like a lot of these, psycho radical people, I think that they should have the same type of de-radicalization, fucking thing, right? And that's what I would say. Oh, what is this? So this is the person who's talking about it. But I did see all this, right? I obviously did. I think that it's a very disgraceful thing that we've allowed this to happen. And I don't know really if it's ever going to stop or go away. I have no idea. But it's been very annoying to see people kind of try to sweep for it or make excuses for why it happens. And the anti going on in the Netherlands. I don't know what's going on in the Netherlands. I have no idea. What's a de-radicalization session? I mean, I feel like if you need to de-radicalize a person that isn't even from your country, why don't you just get rid of them? Like, I don't understand. And this is my opinion, is that I'm not a big fan of, for a while I was more of a fan of being an accelerationist, and I don't think that I really am anymore. And the reason why is because of people like this girl. I think that there's a blind spot that I had, that these people would rather die than admit that they were wrong. And I think that they will do that. They will manifest their own destruction before they admit that any of their viewpoints or values are wrong. And so, and I think this is a good example. So I don't think like that anymore, because I've seen too many videos of these people talking this way. And I think that really the most important thing is to systemically remove their power. I think that's really what you have to do. He was apparently born in Germany. That shouldn't matter. I mean, he's not a German. Everybody knows he's not a German.
Okay.
Right? You look at him, he's not a German. And so, I don't know really what we're doing here.
There was a shooter in Germany. I don't know what the hell was going on with that news. There was another mass shooting somewhere else too. I heard about in Seattle or somewhere. A couple people got shot in Seattle. Took some pictures of family member for the Whisper series. Not that one. This is mother and daughter right here. So there was one set of cousins I didn't get to photograph. But got to saw best friend Brandon and his daughter. Got to hold her for the first time. She was like, I don't like this. She wasn't feeling that too much. Had a cute little photo shoot. You know, I get dressed up sometimes. With the new Adidas. Hey, that boy was looking goddamn sharp right there, that boy. Shit. A beautiful lady, goddamn, that be fine as hell. Oh, they got another Whisper. They brothers. Cause they find that fish up. More pictures of them showing down by the water. That's really good. See, boy, been kind of fresh now. Went to visit my cousin too. Fresh tomatoes off the vine. My cousin garden, her garden's crazy. Yeah, this my cousin's like mini farm. She got all these vegetable beds. And then she has her little workshop all the way in the back there. This is inside her workshop. Like she grows a lot of her own ingredients, and she makes like face oils and soaps and shampoos, conditioners, lip balms, sunscreen. Like she makes all her like beauty products from like organic stuff that, like I said, she grows most of the stuff herself. This is Shauna in my cousin's garden. These videos are buffering.
These are
Like the
lovely.
knees.
Agastache. Then they got fruit trees in the yard. Went to Nick's barbecue house. That food was good as hell there. But that's an old restaurant. I've been going there for a long time. Gotta hang out with my other buddy. His youngest. I done met him before, but he was like a baby when I met him. He like grown and he gonna have a whole conversation with you now. That's one talking little motherfucker too, boy. That little boy talk your damn ear off. I had some pictures of me. Oh wait a minute. I don't think I saved those. Well, I thought these were all photos and these are actually videos. I think that was all before. That was all before we actually got started painting. Yo, D1, what up, bro? Man, that was such a good time.
Goddamn 401k. Fuck it. I don't went bankrupt fucking with that bitch. I ain't this is that nigga. What the fuck is going on here? Look at this demon. Oh hell nah, I stay away from bitches like that. I stay the fuck away from bitches that look like that. Bitch will be all up in my goddamn 401k. Fuck it. Bitch, I don't went bankrupt fucking with that bitch. I ain't this is that nigga was right. That's a motherfucking David right there. Bitches like they don't bring no goddamn positivity to a nigga. Shit, bitch, I'm going bankrupt fucking with a bitch like this. Fuck. What the fuck is going on here? Look at this demon. Oh hell nah, I stay away from bitches like that. I stay the fuck away from.
Like, first of all, I gotta shave my coochie.
What the
Third of all, what the fuck? Like,
All my bad, guys. The memes are memeing right now. A 1,000 ChatGPT prompts. How much you gonna charge me for it though? When I could just tell ChatGPT to make me 1,000 prompts. What the hell?
I'm chilling.
What? I don't get it. No.
Secret. This is me testing.
All right, let's get back to painting. Enough of the memes and shit. But the trip was excellent. We had a wonderful time. Got down there safe. Got back home safe.
National Heritage Academies, we help students discover.
All right, let's go back to painting and blending. Painting and blending some of these colors in here.
Encouraging National Heritage Academies. Find a school near you.
The novella. So he's got a lot to teach. He spent all of his life thinking about this. Thinking about how do you make worlds that are actually believable? How do you build characters that have weight to them? And my favorite one, how do you write a fight scene? How do you think through the pacing and all the action that needs to happen? And if you want to write stories, imaginative stories, stories that are filled with wonder and fantasy, well, then you're going to like this episode. Well, what I want to start with is you really plan your novels in advance. And how did you get into that?
The advanced planning is always world with me, which is a practice I picked up long before I started writing, because I basically come out of a tradition of running role-playing games.
Right.
So when you're creating a world for a role-playing game, you make it very robustly because you don't know what the players are going to break. But you're also making a world specifically for other people to see, even if it's just like 3 other people around a gaming table. That then translates very directly into making a world for a book. And it usually results in a world going to be very immersive and very complete and will extend considerably beyond the pages of the book itself and the particular story that book is about. And that's always what I'm striving to do. Because one of the things I think in fantasy and science fiction writing is the extent that people go to it to be taken to another place. And then from that point, traditionally, I also am similarly thorough in working through the plot. Really just because I like to know where I'm going. I like to know that I'm not going to get halfway through an idea and then just sit there staring at the page thinking, right, I've gone into this situation. I can't get out.
So what are you in your office with Post-it notes on the wall, or what does it actually look like?
Oh no, I mean, it would be lovely to have like the red tape and the conspiracy theory guy sort of meme, but I generally just produce just like a Word document, and it will be chapter by chapter. This happens, this happens, this happens, and usually each chapter will have like this beat, this beat, this beat, and very occasionally it would even go into right, and then there is a conversation in which this piece of information needs to be exchanged with these characters, because essentially if that doesn't happen, then the back end of the book can't work because people don't need to know. I mean, it sometimes feels like getting information to the right place within a book is 90% of planning it.
And are you pretty linear in this process, or are you just kind of building out the outline. You do chapter 24, and then you jump up to chapter 2.
Oh no, this is, I mean, certainly my traditional way of doing things. Yes, it would absolutely, this happens, then this happens, then this happens. I'm just creating this narrative in a very, very almost pedestrian way. Because then I know I have a set of steps which will get me from here to the end of the book. Now, whether I stay on that staircase during writing does vary quite a lot, because sometimes you'll get an idea that's actually, it'll be better just to have a bit of a detour here and come back to it later on. Or sometimes you'll get to this point and realize actually the logic of this does not work because I've not done my job properly with planning. And sometimes it'll be a logic of world building, and sometimes it'll be a logic of narrative. I had a book where I got all the way through and realized that the entire business of the book was rendered completely pointless by the way the book ended, so that you could literally cut it all out and nothing would have changed. And that point, right, I'm going to have to go back and rethink through the logic of that and rewrite various chapters so that all of this stuff has a point. But usually the penultimate scene will be fairly fixed. And the one thing I've never done is actually work out the very ending.
So you get almost to the end, but not to the end.
Because one thing I found right from the beginning was you can get yourself in the planning to that. Yeah, you're in the final room. You've got the big bad. You've got the heroes. They're having the face off, but letting the trajectory and momentum of the book to that point then tell you how it should end has worked really well for me.
So then, as a writer, do you feel that even though you're the creator of the book, at some point you actually get away from the driver's seat? You're almost a passenger following some sort of intrinsic telos that the thing that you have made has?
Yeah, I mean, it's, to put it in a less fancy way, you get to the point of feeling that you are chronicling. And this is especially the case, I think, probably more so with science fiction and fantasy than anything else, because so much of the stuff in the book is I don't want to say fictional, I want to say everything in the book is fictional, but it's more fictional because you're dealing with places and times and people and creatures that don't exist in any way in the real world. And so to a certain extent, you are driving the story. The Notebook.
Is it fun to imagine pretty...
Yo, D, I got a new album.
This is I think why my process is so very world. It's just making new worlds